Susan is 61 years old. She has $44,000 in student loan debt. Not from a degree she earned last year, from a degree she earned 35 years ago, and from loans she took to help her daughter. A decade after that, she has been paying for most of her adult life, and she is still not done. Susan assumed she was unusual. She isn't. Millions of Americans over 60 are carrying student loan debt into retirement. In this video, I'm going to show you three things. First, why student loan debt at 60 is far more common than most people realize, and the two very different situations that create it. Second, the options that exist specifically for older borrowers, including programs most people in this situation have never fully explored. Third, a risk that almost nobody mentions. That could affect Social Security benefits directly if student loan debt goes unaddressed. The third one surprises almost everyone. Stay with me. Before I show you the options, I need to explain why federal and private student loans require completely different strategies, because treating them the same is one of the most common and most costly mistakes older borrowers make. Susan had two types of debt: $31,000 in federal student loans, $13,000 in private student loans. These are not the same thing. Federal student loans are held by the US government. They come with income-driven repayment options, forgiveness programs, deferment and forbearance options, and specific protections for older borrowers. Private student loans are held by banks and financial institutions. They have almost none of these protections. No income-driven repayment, no forgiveness programs, no government oversight of terms. The strategy for each is fundamentally different. Susan had been treating both the same way, making standard payments on both, and making almost no progress on either. Here's the twist. Federal student loan borrowers have significantly more options than most people realize. Options that can dramatically reduce monthly payments or lead to complete forgiveness that most older borrowers have never fully explored because the information is complex and the programs are not well advertised to the people who need them most. Now, the options that actually exist for older borrowers specifically. Option 1. Income-driven repayment for federal loans. IDR plans cap monthly payments at a percentage of discretionary income. For retirees on fixed income, discretionary income may be very low, meaning monthly payments could be dramatically reduced, sometimes to zero. After 20 to 25 years on an IDR plan, remaining balances are forgiven. Susan had been on a standard repayment plan for 35 years. She had never applied for income-driven repayment. Option 2. Public service loan forgiveness. For borrowers who worked in qualifying public service jobs, government, non-profit, education, healthcare. After 10 years of qualifying payments, federal loans are forgiven entirely. Susan had worked for a non-profit for 12 years. In the 1990s, she had never applied for PSLF because she didn't know it existed. Option 3. Total and permanent disability discharge. For borrowers with qualifying disabilities, federal loans can be discharged entirely. Susan had a significant health condition. She had never explored whether she qualified. Option 4. Bankruptcy. Rarely, but sometimes possible. Contrary to popular belief, student loans can sometimes be discharged in bankruptcy under specific hardship standards. This is difficult to achieve, but it is not impossible, as was once widely believed. Here's the most important twist: the Social Security garnishment risk. The federal government can garnish Social Security benefits to collect on defaulted federal student loans, up to 15% of benefits. For a retiree whose Social Security is already limited, losing 15% could be financially devastating. This risk is almost never discussed in mainstream retirement planning content. Susan didn't know it existed until she explored her options. What happened when Susan actually explored her options? Susan contacted a non-profit student loan counselor at no cost. In one session, she discovered her federal loans qualified for an IDR plan. That reduced her monthly payment from $380 to $0, based on her retirement income, with forgiveness of remaining balance after 25 years. Her non-profit work history qualified her for PSLF review, a process that is ongoing, but potentially results in complete federal loan forgiveness. Her private loans required separate negotiation. Her private lender agreed to a reduced settlement at 60 cents on the dollar because she was able to demonstrate that full repayment on her fixed income was genuinely not possible. 18 months later, Susan's monthly student loan payment was $0. Her federal loans are in an IDR plan, moving toward potential forgiveness. Her private loans are settled. She had options she never knew existed because nobody had ever shown them to her. Here's the most important twist. Student loan rules change frequently. The specific programs available and their current terms require verification with a current specialist, not a video from last year, and certainly not assumptions made without professional guidance. Susan was 61, $44,000 in student loans. She had been paying for most of her adult life. 18 months after exploring her actual options, her monthly payment was $0, and a path to forgiveness was in motion. This video just opened a window for you. You've seen the programs most people never explore, the Social Security risk almost nobody mentions, and the difference between federal and private loans. That changes everything about the strategy. What you do with that window is completely yours, because everyone's situation is different. One question before you go. Did you know the government could garnish Social Security for defaulted student loans? Drop it in the comments. Almost nobody does. That completes the Debt and Credit series. 3 complete series. Retirement reality, inflation and cost of living. Debt and credit. 50 videos of honest financial education for the people who need it most. Next week, a brand new series begins. Subscribe, hit the bell, because what's coming next covers something that affects every single person watching, regardless of age, income, or where they are financially. See you next week. Educational content only, not financial advice. Always consult a qualified student loan specialist or financial advisor.